Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kyle, and in this video I wanted to go over 3 different ways to make 100 grand of passive income in a year. So I'm sitting here, got my man Henry in the background. You probably see him. Hopefully he doesn't do anything weird. And we're gonna go over 3 strategies of how to make 100 grand of passive income a year. And let's go into it. So these are 3 different ways that I have already adopted and either hit the goal of the 100K of passive income or I'm on my way to. So I am doing these 3 strategies currently, and I know they work. So I'm just gonna go over a little bit about each individual one and how they're going. So now, 100 grand of passive income, we're not talking about like doing crazy stuff. I mean, I think everyone can agree that you can live off 100 grand of passive income, of 100 grand of income, if you're living within your means and reducing your expenses and stuff like that. It's not talking about like, I don't know, you're gonna drive around in pink Lambos like Nicki Minaj, or buy, buy your own island like Richie Branson. But if you live within your means, you're going to be able to just make $100,000 and live very comfortably. I think in pretty much anywhere in the world. New York City and places like that might be a little bit more tight, and you're not depending on the apartment and all that and where you live and what house you live in. But if you really wanted to, you could live off 100 grand. I think that's a great milestone to have for living off of passive income. So quick little story about really how I got introduced to passive income and why I'm so interested in it. Well, when I was growing up and living in Pennsylvania, and I ended up moving to the New York City area to become a professional actor, I thought, well, how great would it be? A lot of actors were like bartenders and stuff like that, and you had to work to be able to you had to juggle a lot to be able to work and create money for yourself, to pay your bills, pay your rent, and to be able to focus on an acting career. So I've always been very intrigued about this passive income situation and examples of passive income, and having that thought about, wow, like what if I could just cover my, upon moving to New York, I was, wow, what if I could cover my rent, my bills, and living expenses, and be able to pursue my dream full time? Because let's look at it this way. What is money, truthfully? Think about it. Money, in my definition of it, or in my the way I view it, is it's a tool to allow me to do whatever it is else that I want to do. So really, you're truly free if you just don't have to think about money and how to pay your bills and pay your living expenses, but you have the money to just do so and go about your life and live whatever it is that you want to do. Spend more time with your family, just pursue your dreams, and write or be creative or something like that, or sit around and watch Netflix if that's what you choose to do. But either way, it's just a tool for you to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do. It won't make you happy. The studies have shown that once you have the amount of money that it is to be able to live comfortably and just pay your bills and pay your expenses and pay your living, the level of happiness doesn't really increase much. Like if you're gonna have 1 million in the bank or have 2 million in the bank, really it's not gonna affect your level of happiness. So that's really what money is, and that's my point of view on it before we get into all these 3 different ways to make passive income. Okay, so the first way to create passive income and to get on the way on the goal of creating 100 grand of passive income a year would be to invest in dividend stocks. This is just one way of doing it, but dividend stocks. Let's take, for example, a company like T. Ticker symbol T, it's AT&T. I use it, I'm a customer. I've been using it for years. It's my cell phone carrier. Everyone knows AT&T. It's a company that's not going anywhere, and it's offering out a great dividend. So this is offering out a 7% dividend yield per year. So what this means is that it will pay you 7% of the money that you have invested in AT&T, and they pay out quarterly. So if you have $1.5 million worth of AT&T stock at 7%, where it's at now, if the stock stays at the stock price it's at now, you will make that 7%, and it doesn't raise from that. You will make $105,000 per year just paid to you off of holding that company, being an owner of that company's stock. So right there, just off dividends, you will make $8,750 a month, which correlates to $105,000 a year just from holding AT&T stock. So how do you get there? How do you get 150? Well, you can invest 150 grand for 10 years and get to $1.5 million. So that's, if you take 150K and you can save that money a year. That's a lot of money for most people, I understand, but if you can save that 150K and put it in for 10 years, that's $1.5 million, and it will pay you at 7%, it will pay you $8,750 a month, where you will get to $105,000 a year. So that's great if you can pay the $150,000 every year and work up to that amount. Or realistically, if you're paying $150,000 a year straight off of that first year, $150,000, you're going to be making approximately $10,000 or so off of dividends for that $150,000. So you're really going to have $160,500 at the end of the first year. So it's compounding. My guess is around year 7 or 8, you're going to already have that $1.5 million in there. If the stock goes up and rises a little bit, it's going to be quicker than usual. And not to mention, AT&T is one of the dividend aristocrats. Look up what that means. That means that is one of the companies that has been a blue chip company, has been raising their dividends for 25 consecutive years, meaning they keep raising up their dividends. So you will get paid out more to the consumer and to the person, the stockholder. And so the key with this is time. So if you got a good old father time on your side and you're thinking about maybe a 20-year plan on this, well, then you're only putting in 75 grand a year. And my guess is right around year 15 or 16, you're probably going to have that, just because of compounding dividends and reinvesting your dividends that you've been building up. I mean, think about it. Once you put in $1 million at a 7% dividend payout, you're going to be making $70,000 right off of the dividend, or off of the stock. So in about year 13, you're going to have that $1 million, if not sooner. And all the money you're making in dividends, if you just reinvest that's your payment into the stock every year, and you're going to get that without even having to put any more capital of your own in. So the advantage of this is that stocks and dividends like this are 100% hands off. It's 100% passive. Just you're letting it go, and somebody else is running it, and they're just paying you monthly and quarterly, and you're living off of this. You're not dipping into your initial investment, and your money's still there. So if the stock price holds up, you can just sell it all and have the capital there. The disadvantage, I would say, is that it's way more money and more capital up front of your own, and you're not really in control of it. It's somebody else that's running the company. It's the economy. So that's the disadvantage. So the number 2 way to make $100,000 of passive income would be real estate. So say, for instance, just to use this as an example, you find a $150,000 house and you put down 25% of this as an investor. Say you want to buy it as an LLC, so it's a complete company. You would have to buy it and put 25% down. That's roughly $40,000 or $50,000 with closing costs. Now, if you can find something that your mortgage payment, roughly, again, with depending on what area you're at with taxes and all that, it's going to be around $1,000 a month, your mortgage payment. So if you can find anything over that, minus expenses, you have to look into that, and utilities, but anything over that is just net proceeds, and you're going to be making money that's cash flowing in real estate. So for instance, if you want to buy something that's, say for instance, $150,000, and you can save up that 40 grand, which is approximately $770 a week. So if you can't save that up now, but you can find another side hustle and make $770 a week, you will have that 40 grand at the end of the year to save up and to buy a property with. So if you buy that property with, you will have a physical, tangible property that you can have that's an asset that will be paying you $1,000 approximately per month if you just follow that formula. So if you can just find a apartment, either a 2-family that's paying $1,000 per apartment and it's 150 grand, or a 3-unit building that's paying approximately $700 a unit, that's 2,100 rent roll, and you have $1,000 mortgage, you're going to be paying over that. Just look at the utilities and make sure that that's on the tenant and that you will really net in that $1,000. Now it's pretty much going to be on flat markets that aren't going to appreciate greatly, but that's okay, because if this is just your dividend, your passive income strategy and your cash flow strategy, then that's all you have to look for, and that's the formula you want to stay in. So the advantage of this strategy is that you can just keep doing it over and over again, and that also the tenants that you're realistically making that money that's coming in and you're paying down your asset. So it's not just the $1,000 that you're making per month over top of your mortgage, but they're actually paying down your asset so that eventually in 20, 30 years, you will have something free and clear. And if you're raising your rents incrementally, you will have just that much more down the line coming in. The disadvantage of this strategy in the real estate game is that it's more of your capital upfront that you're using, and then you have to use to keep purchasing properties like this. So option B in real estate is that you buy every property as a primary residence. What this would entail is that you would have to go live in the property for approximately 2 years and then move into another one and then rent out your unit that you were living in. And you can keep doing that over and over again. The advantage to this strategy is that you are only possibly putting down 5 to 10%. So on a 150 grand property or a 200 grand property, you are really only having to put down $10,000 or $20,000 because you are buying it as a primary residence, living in there for 2 years, and then moving on to the next one and then re-renting your apartment out. So the advantage with that strategy is that lower down payment each time. The disadvantage of that strategy is that you got to keep moving every 2 years. So option C in real estate is that you buy something, say in a area that the comparable properties are selling for 150 grand, and you buy something you get a deal that needs work at 100 grand, and you put $10,000 to $15,000 into it, and now it gets it up to the level of 150 grand worth properties. Now you can refinance and pull your initial capital that you put down on that property out and go use that to buy another property, and keep doing that over and over and over again, and you can come to the same passive income level of getting 8 properties and doing this and just keep moving on with your capital. Now, the advantage to this one is that you don't have to put as much of your own capital in at all. The disadvantage to this strategy is that it's a lot more work up front. It's you buying the property, it's you doing the work to refinance and then have to, work with the banks and the lenders to refinance the property and then be able to move on to the next one. So here again, these are just examples. You could also save up $1 million and just buy a property in cash that's generating at least an $8,000 a month monthly rent roll, and the net operating income after expenses is $8,000, and then there's your $100,000 a year in passive income. Now, the disadvantages of real estate in general is that it's not 100% totally passive like, say, a dividend stock would be. You still have maintenance, you still have vacancies, etc. And you can kind of offset this a little bit if you get a property manager, but still it's not totally 100% passive. However, the advantages is that it is somewhat passive, and people are paying you. You're essentially earning money while you sleep because you're renting out a physical asset to someone who is paying you a monthly fee for. And also, additionally, there's also icing on the cake type situations where the property appreciates and it becomes more valuable. You can raise the rents, or even you can use this down payment, you can use this cash flow for additional down payments. So eventually, when you say do this 4 times and you have $4,000 a month rent roll coming in, now that's $48,000 at the end of the year. you can use that money to put down on another property. So it's not totally your money at that point. It is a little bit initially upfront, but at the end it's not. And that's kind of the strategy that I'm at now, where I'm using that kind of cash flow to be able to purchase additional properties. So the third way to try to make $100,000 of passive income a year would be invest in a business. So either invest in a business like, say, Amazon drop shipping, for example. You could sell something, an item that, physical product that you make $1 off of, and you have to sell 8,000 of them a month. Or you could sell 800 of something where you make $10 per profit, and that's your $100,000 a year. So the disadvantage of this kind of strategy is that you have to use your capital up front, and you are also at the risk of this not selling and losing your capital that you initially are putting in. The advantage of this type of passive income strategy is that you're essentially making money as you sleep, and you could also scale this business and potentially sell it. So the second part of investing in and making money in a business would be something like a real estate agent, and being able to build up either to become a real estate broker or be the leader of a team, and essentially leverage yourself by having people working under you and be able to make money off of them and create a business plan that would benefit them and benefit you as well, and just devise a business plan so that you can work towards this goal of essentially the passive income that you want. So the disadvantage of this kind of business model is that it's a lot of work up front. It's learning a new strategy, and it's learning to be able to not only do it yourself, but to be able to teach other people to do it. The advantage of this kind of business model is that it's not a lot of capital up front, but it's more of intensive hard work. So the third type of business investing, it would be to create some type of teachable course or an online course, and you're able to scale and potentially sell this. But the disadvantages of this would be it's a lot more intensive upfront, and it's a lot more learning and building this course up. But the advantages of this is that it's totally making money by you not putting in any capital after the initial investment of time and effort, but then also other than possibly creating a little bit of advertising for it. But essentially it's, you do it once, you set it, and it's done, and then you're able to sell this. All right, so that's all the ways that you can pretty much be able to make passive income and earn $100,000 a year in passive income. In some levels of degreeing passivity, some are more passive than others, and some are a little bit more work, but essentially all are passive in nature. And the only other way that you could potentially do it is do all three of them and be able to make $3,000 in each, in real estate, $3,000 in dividends, and $3,000 in business, and there's your $100,000 also. And that's kind of more of the mentality that I would adopt and try to do all of them if you're intrigued by all of them, because it's probably essentially a lot easier to learn all three of them and to build them up and to just do the 3K and then be able to grow from there, because they're essentially all going to grow off of each other as you're doing it. So either way, just do one of them, do two of them, do all three of them, and I hope you like the content in this video. If you do, please, I'm going to ask you one quick thing to do, and that's to smash that like button below. Just hit it so hard it turns blue, and also subscribe if you have not done so already, and hit the notification bell so you will get notifications every time I post new content, which is pretty often. And follow me on Instagram if you're on there. I post it pretty much daily, so you will get other aspects of my life as well. And guys, also I'm gonna leave you off with a couple free things. If you want 5 free bucks right now and you're not using it already, go down below and you can subscribe to Acorns, which is essentially it's an app that you can enter your credit card, and every time you swipe your credit card, it saves your digital change and rounds it up, and it also allows you to save a little bit extra if that's what you choose to do. And it's pretty cool. You kind of set it and forget it, and it's automatically making you save. So it's pretty cool, especially if you're swiping that credit card all the time. And also Robinhood. If you have not done so already, the platform's really easy to use. You can get a free stock if you sign up, and it's a really quick, easy introduction to day trading and to stock trading. And then also I put a link to Mint below where you can set up all your accounts so that you can see everything in one place, and it's pretty cool. I use it pretty much daily. So guys, thank you so much for staying to the end of this. Again, comment below, tell me what you think of this, tell me what you think of the strategies, let me know what you're working on, and I'll reply. Have a great day, and go make some passive income.